How did LeBron look when he returned?
Rusty. He looked like a guy that had been out for a month, that had missed 13 games, got winded fairly quick, and that's to be expected. Because when you take time off, Skip, you have to let the foot heal, so you don't know you're not doing any cardio, you're not doing any bike. I don't know how much pool work he was doing, but you get in shape and you stay in conditioning by doing the things that you play in the sport that you play, which is basketball. So running up and down the court, doing things of that nature, that's the way to stay in conditioning, and he wasn't allowed to do those things. But after a while, you could see he started to resemble himself, started to play downhill. He missed some shots. The ball looked good from where I was sitting. I saw him take a couple of shots, took a three, and took another shot, and it looked good. I mean, had great rotation on the ball, just a little flat, and hit the front of the rim. But I think by Wednesday, they play the Bulls again in Chicago, and then they got, another 4 or 5 games on the road, even though the Clipper game, Skip, is in L.A. is considered a road game. But I think by Wednesday, with a little bit more conditioning, obviously he came off the bench for only the second time in his career. Came up, second time in 1,958 games. Yep. First time since December 11th, 2007. But Skip, all in all, I thought he looked good. Obviously there was some concern. I'm sure he had some concerns in his head, because he was doubtful, then questionable game time decision. And then as we got closer and closer, started to get closer and closer to the game, it was breaking news. LeBron is, eligible, going to play. And I was like, oh, man. And so, but I like what I saw, Skip. I think by Wednesday, you'll see a different LeBron. He had 19 points. He led the team in scoring, 6 of 11, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He was a +4 and plus minus. I can see him on Wednesday probably getting 30 points because he'll play more. He'll be more aggressive. He knows the foot is healthy now, and he'll be able to be more of himself. So I like what I saw. The question is now getting Anthony Davis to play like Anthony Davis did on Friday night, to get him to play like that when LeBron is in the lineup. And that's what people say, you know what, man, the Lakers, if AD and LeBron, they mesh, they play together, on all cylinders at the same time. Yep. The West could be in for a big problem. Big problem.
Agree. First question is, how did LeBron look? I thought he looked sensational, given the fact he was out for a month and missed 13 games. Right. He looked refreshed. He looked revitalized. He looked reasonably healthy. I saw explosion. I saw spring. I saw a confident driver of the basketball. I didn't see tentative. I didn't see, I don't know if I can try. No, he was full on, full out. Here we go. But what happened on the scoreboard was completely predictable, because I'm going to remind everybody, the Chicago Bulls, since the All-Star break, have won 6 out of 7 games on the road. Okay. If I look at what they've been doing on the road, I remind you, they did win at Denver. I remind you, they did win at Philadelphia. And I don't have to remind you, they just beat the Lakers on LeBron's return yesterday in an early game, which can be problematic for the Lakers.
It was problematic for me, and I didn't have to play.
Okay, because it's just weird out here. If you really live out here like we do, it's 12:30 tip-off. So those guys got to get up like it's a college football game, like you have to, everything is screwed up. Your whole system is screwed up. What time are you going to eat? Are you going to eat at 9? Are you going to eat a big breakfast? You're going to eat a little breakfast. Right. How are you going to do this? It's all messed up. And yet the Bulls were here, and they're going to play here again tonight against the Clippers in the same building. We'll see how that goes. But by the way, they're 5-point dogs to the Clippers, which is a shock to me. But back to this game. Again, they have some Laker X's on their team, starting with Pat Bev. They have Caruso. They have guys who want to stick it to the Lakers, especially as LeBron returns. So what happened? Look, it's different for LeBron now. You know this. I know this. He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. What does that mean to his teammates? They're in even more awe than they were before. And he passed Kareem, and then what happened? He was gone. And they had to figure it out on their own. Well, what have they been doing just in and of themselves? If I look at what their record is, think about this. They're 10-5 since the All-Star break. They're 12-6 since the trade deadline. Good things are happening. I'm going to say it again. I loved what Rob Pelinka did at the trade deadline.
Right.
I loved getting out from under Russ and getting out from under Pat Bev. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, the pieces are starting to fit, but they were starting to fit without LeBron. Now, we don't have D'Angelo Russell. He's got a hip injury, so he's missed the last two. But Shannon, what did we just talk about last Thursday? We talked about how Austin Reeves came out of nowhere, out of Newark, Arkansas, undrafted free agent to take over the Lakers. On Wednesday night, they were chanting at that same arena, MVP, MVP. Well, he took over. He'd scored 35 the game before that, and then he took over that game, and he was closing for the Lakers. Well, what's going to happen if suddenly LeBron gets thrown back into the mix? And it was very sudden because I don't know what you thought, but I didn't know if LeBron was going to play yesterday. No. Okay, so remember, it was kind of weird sparring back and forth over the weekend between the Lakers. They're sort of leaking information. LeBron's going to be back sometime next week. And he immediately tweeted, I believe it was on Saturday, no, I speak for myself. Right. I set my own timeline. I'm paraphrasing, but he was the main line was, I speak for myself. Right. Okay, so he did not love that they seemed to be sort of urging him to come back. Right. Yet, he wakes up yesterday morning and he says, okay, let's upgrade to doubtful. Right. And then he goes out, bounces around a little bit, and he says, I'm questionable.
And then because he went from Friday he was out to Saturday he was doubtful, then to questionable, and then game time decision. He's going to see how it feels at warm up, and then boom.
Okay, he did not start, but he did come off the bench.
Correct.
And he did play 30 minutes in this game. Yes. And they were impactful 30 minutes. But think about his teammates. Did they go to the arena early yesterday morning thinking LeBron's going to play today?
No.
Probably not.
No. Because
AD said after the game, I was surprised. And I'm pretty sure he keeps as close a touch with LeBron as anybody, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So even AD did not know. Okay, so what's going to happen if you throw the all-time leading scorer into a mix that had won 3 straight games? Everybody's standing around. I thought LeBron was really good while the rest of them were just watching LeBron. Mm-hmm. Well, what else are you going to do? What's Austin Reeves going to do? I got this. LeBron, get out of the way. I'm in charge now. Right. You don't understand. It's my team. He's not going to say that. No. And his numbers don't say that he said that. He backed completely off, right? I mean, look at how the shots fell for Austin Reeves yesterday.
He only had 10 shots.
Yeah,
but don't skip, Malik Beasley had the most attempts, and he had 14. On all of his came from three-point line. So it was 14, 13, 10, and 10.
Okay, 6 of 14 from 3. That will actually work with LeBron back. Yes. And some of those were courtesy of LeBron James. Okay, so the point was, everything looked a little out of whack, and the Bulls just jumped all over them because the Bulls are cooking. And the Bulls wanted this a little worse than the Lakers wanted it, because when they walked out on the floor, it's not like we're here to play a game. We're actually here to try to figure out how to play with the king again. Right. Okay? So it takes off in the wrong direction, and before you look up, the Bulls were up at one point by 21 points. Yes. Well, what's going to happen? Right. Nothing good is going to happen.
No. I mean, Zach LaVine got it going in the second, Skip, and he just couldn't miss. And then, DeRozan, Skip, he get to that mid-range. I mean, you're just like, Coach, what you want me to do? You know he's the master of the mid-range. He don't miss. He gets 15, 16 feet. He's not missing that shot. Okay. And LaVine just had it going.
And by the way, DeMar DeRozan made both of his three-point shots. He doesn't shoot threes, but he was feeling so good about himself that he stepped into 2 threes. He has to, push it a little harder, but they both got there, and he made it because they are making just about everything.
They shoot about 36% from the three, Skip. They shot 45% yesterday.
Well, what are you going to do about that? How are you going to – okay. Which brings me to Anthony Davis. He also watched too much yesterday. Mm-hmm. I don't understand it because the productivity was there for AD. It just wasn't enough. No. We saw 8 shots, but he makes 6 out of 8. And he does give you 9 rebounds, and he does give you 15 and 9. Right. Shannon Sharpe, you're sitting courtside. What happened with about a minute or so left in the first half? What happened to the rival center? He got tossed. And he should have gotten tossed because he's complaining about a foul on LeBron, which he banged him on the top of the head. I don't know what he's bitching about.
I think, Skip, he was saying, I got fouled on the other end.
Okay, well, that's fine. But you definitely fouled LeBron James. It wasn't even close.
Right.
And I don't know what he said, but it went boom, and you are gone.
Well, Tony Brothers is the one that threw him out of the game, but he wasn't the official that gave him the first tech.
No.
He just happened to be in earshot, and I guess he said the magic word. And
okay, you are gone.
Yes.
Okay, what position does Vucevic play for the Bulls? I think he's the 5, right?
He is.
Okay, so if he only lasts for 15 minutes and 17 seconds of the game, so he's on his way to playing 30-ish minutes, but he doesn't get to play in the second half. What should AD do in the second half? He should terrorize.
Yes.
He should annihilate. He should dominate. And I don't know. He's watching LeBron. His button was not pushed. Right. His motor was not started. It wasn't bad, 6 out of 8 shots. But again, if we're talking about being a threat in the West, he has to come to play. And I don't know why lately he's been more miss than hit.
Right. Considering what you saw Friday night, Skip. He was 37 and 15.
I got it. And is he highly capable?
Yeah.
You better believe he is. Okay. All right. Then the other good news for me was, what did LeBron not do yesterday? You said you shot 1 3 that you thought was online. Mm-hmm. Well, that was really the only 3 he had attempted until the last few seconds. He took a desperation 3 that was just jack up. But he didn't come out firing from 3. No. He didn't say, let me ease back into this by launching 8 threes and let me just stay out here on the perimeter. This was full-on attack mode by LeBron James. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was impressed by that.
Yeah, Skip, he was. I mean, he had a couple of charging fouls. Caruso understands how to play him. Stepped in front of him and got picked up 2 charges on him.
I thought that was close. In fact, I would have called that against Caruso because I didn't think he was set.
You think he's set?
And I thought he was moving slightly sideways.
I think the thing is also, Skip, he had 5 turnovers, so he was a little rusty. 2 of those came via charge. And plus, the turnovers for the Lakers as a whole, they doubled up the Bulls, and then, again, free throws. Skip, it can't be that hard to shoot free throws.
No,
it can't be.
He missed 3, obviously.
Again, he missed 40 the other night.
Yep.
You remember what game I think they ended up losing? They missed 11. Yep. And here they missed 9. They're missing 9, 10, 11 free throws. Okay. It doesn't do you any good to get this many opportunities if you're blowing them.
Okay, and the other thing that disturbs me is they got out-rebounded by a team that lost its center before halftime, 42-38. Right. It just can't be.
No.
If you're going to make noise in the West, if you are, dare I say, going to go win the West, which is begging to be won by somebody from somewhere somehow, you cannot get out-rebounded 42-38 by the Chicago Bulls without their center.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Even though Andre Drummond came in, Skip, and he gave him quality minutes. He didn't play that long. He only played 18 minutes, but he was 5 of 6, 8 rebounds, 12, plus 20 and plus minus.
Yep.
So he played really well for. But Skip, they started knocking down threes, and you could see the Lakers started Derrick Jones. When you start hitting threes, Kobe White, you hitting threes, and what's the dude's name? The sumo.
Yeah. He had a couple.
Skip, I mean, the thing is, they got a layup, and he runs to the three-point line. They throw it to him, and he makes it. Yep. I'm like, bro, when did you turn into Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? That's what they do. You're supposed to go get the layup.
Okay. If you're going to be a legit contender, that cannot happen. So I'm reading about this team today, and I'd forgotten about this. Would you believe that since the All-Star break, the Los Angeles Lakers have the #1 defense in the NBA since the trade deadline.
Right.
Since the trade deadline?
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
You couldn't tell me that yesterday.
Okay, but somehow that's the number. Right now, the stats say they have had the best defensive stats since the trade deadline. Help me out. Is it not because of Jared Vanderbilt, who can play defense at a high level and probably should have spent more time on Zach LaVine yesterday, and he did not, and I don't understand it? Is it because Hachimura comes in and will get up in people's faces? Yep.
He didn't play at all yesterday.
He didn't play at all. But somehow they put together a roster that will play defense at a way higher level than it used to be, because they used to be, well, at the trade deadline, they were 22nd in defense. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, since then, help me out. Is that not good?
Yes.
Okay, so you see the pieces in place. Okay, so I'm going to sum this up. LeBron talked about his injury. I don't even care what his injury is anymore. Is it a torn tendon, an inflamed tendon, a strained tendon? I don't care. All I know is whether he was supposed to have surgery or not, and one doctor, the LeBron of foot doctors, said no surgery. Okay, fine, great. All I know is he looked pretty good yesterday.
But he did say surgery is still an option in the offseason, but you guys wouldn't know because I don't talk to you guys.
Okay,
so.
all right. But it's LeBron freaking James.
Right.
I don't think he's going to have off-season surgery, and nobody's going to know about it. But whatever.
Okay.
He can. That's his choice.
Yes.
But the point is, none of that matters now because he is back. They have the second easiest closing schedule. You can do it a lot of different statistical ways, but by the system that we use, it's the second easiest closing schedule because how many of those teams? I think 5 out of 7 are sub 500 teams.
Right.
Okay, so now they go to the Bulls. I love it that they get to the Bulls again at Chicago because I think they can win this game.
Right.
I think they will be spoiling to win this game. I'm going to predict they will win this game because they do need it for their own psyche.
Right.
Just to say, okay, that's enough. Because you know how Pat Bev ended the game yesterday, as he is wont to do. If we could see him do the too small to LeBron.
Yeah, I filed a report. This was harassment.
Yeah, and I know he's just having fun. But he wanted to do so at the Lakers' expense, and he has dropped all kinds of hints that are sort of mysterious hints about what went on with the Lakers, what was missing with the Lakers. And then he did post a picture on Saturday out here of him in a car with a 6-pack of Charmin on the front seat.
Right.
Okay, so you're saying the Lakers are soft?
Well, that's what he said. I mean, he was saying that, they don't have any heart. So I was the heart, and, it is what it is. I mean, like he won, and he said this is what he wanted to do. He wanted to knock the Lakers out, keep them out of the playoffs. That was a great job yesterday. Definitely, they're still in the playoffs, but I think LeBron said it best. We should be aimed higher than the play-in. Let's try to get a seed where we're not in the play-in. So I still believe they can get to the 6th spot. Yeah,
I actually didn't understand what he said because he said, to hell with the play-in, we actually can be a top 8 seed. Well, if you're 8th, you're still in the play-in, whether you like it or not.
I think they can get to 6.
Well, that's what I think he meant top 6,
right? Yeah, that's what he meant.
Because they're only a couple. What is it? 2 games, 2.5 games.
Right.
And by the way, we'll talk about this later. Golden State is not Golden State anymore, and they are still barely clinging to the 6th seed. And here comes Minnesota. And by the way, Jen, congratulations, because here come the Pelicans.
Right.
So all of a sudden, Oklahoma City is hot, and the Lakers got a shot. It's good news, bad news, because some of the bottom feeders are starting to rise, but the upper feeders are definitely starting to fall. I don't like the Clippers anymore. They had a terrible home loss the other night.
Well, I mean, you Skip with the guy.
Pelicans.
I mean, Skip with the guy make 10 threes. I mean, what you gonna do?
Okay.
It's just like what Kennard hit 10. There ain't nothing you can do, Skip. You just tip your hat. A guy making double-digit threes on you.
Yeah.
They shot him out the gym.
Yeah, but all of a sudden, Brandon Ingram is playing like a star.
Well, he's been an all-star.
I got it. But he is back in the South. If they get Zion back, whew, it's going to be interesting.
Well, he ain't no way he can't not be rusty. Dude's missed almost. He's missed 4
speaking of somebody, at least LeBron was allegedly working out 3 times a day. So was I surprised he looked good in 30 minutes of play? And he said, I got to get my wind back and get my legs. Okay, but they looked fine. Right. He was playing really well.
Yeah,
right?
he was. I thought Skip, like I said, he was a little rusty. He was a little tentative because, I mean, it was a couple of minutes before he even attempted a shot.
Yeah.
And so, but once he got going, like, okay, let me put the ball on the floor. Let me get to the rim. He did that. But like I said, I think you'll see a much improved LeBron on Wednesday.
I do too.
Because he has he got his win, and so this is what I expect. He'll be back in the starting lineup. I expect a big game from him on Wednesday.
Shannon, I like your team. I do. I like everything.
I think you like him a little bit more than I do right now.
Well, okay, but Anthony Davis is going home. He grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
That's what normally, when guys go home, they get a little home cooking. Yeah. They get to see mom, pop, a couple of the homeboys.
They want to show up, show off, show out.
All right, AD, give us a 30 and 15 game. LeBron will give us a 30 and 8.
Okay.
We'll be in the business.
Highly capable of.
Because you're going to have to match their duo. DeMar DeRozan might not have a quiet game. Now, we know he can go get you 30, 40. Yep. We just saw what Zach LaVine did yesterday. So
yeah, I did watch them clean out Philly at Philly, and Philly turned right around and went to Chicago and said, "Okay, watch this."
Right.
So that's what the Lakers need.
And they did that with Joel Embiid. Not playing the whole. I think he played 12 minutes at the ball.
No, that's true because we talked about that.
His calf or something.
Yeah, they were up. The game was over after about 4 minutes.
76-48.
Yeah.
Lakers have 7 games left to go, gentlemen. And Shannon, I just want to make sure you saw that graphic. And thank you very much, Skip. Yes, indeed. You did notice who's in the 8th spot ahead of your Lakers?
Temporary.
My Pelicans.
Temporary.
We'll find out. We will see.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.